So you're putting yourself out there for your business or your side hustle and you're scared of being judged, or you're dealing with quite a few anxiety beliefs when it comes to your business or your side hustle. Look, I get it. I've been there as well. I also used to struggle with a major fear of being judged, and I had these little voices inside my head that would tell me to do things differently, and that was just kind of preventing me from reaching my full potential. So in today's video, I want to share my best tips and tricks and mindset advice to help you really deal with the fear of being judged and anxiety beliefs so you can reach your full potential and just focus on what's really important inside your business. Ready for this? Then keep on watching. Hi there, welcome back to my channel. I'm Laura. I'm an Instagram and marketing expert, and I help service business build and scale their business with the power of Instagram. So if that's you, don't forget to hit subscribe, but also hit the bell so you can stay tuned for more content. Okay, so chances are that if you're afraid of being judged and you're just dealing with this kind of negativity, that it can come from a few different places. In my opinion, there's 3 different pillars that I really want to look into when it comes to dealing with this. The first one is dealing with anxiety beliefs. Then second of all, I really want to look at fear of failure. And then third of all, dealing with the fear of being judged. So first things first, dealing with your anxiety beliefs. So I want to start with dealing with your anxiety beliefs because truth be told, if you are afraid of being judged, it's most probably because you're either judging yourself or you're expecting to be judged. It's a very common issue, especially for people doing something that is slightly less common, out of the ordinary. And yes, online business owners or coaches, I see you. I know you're doing something different. Look, I get it. I still don't really feel like explaining even my neighbors what I'm doing. I wouldn't even know where to start, and that's perfectly fine. So first of all, I want you to stop judging yourself because that's gonna put a lot of things already to bed. And here's a little trick that I really want to share with you to help you deal with putting these things to bed, and that is actually dealing with your anxiety beliefs. So what I want you to do is actually look at your anxiety beliefs straight into the eyes and deal with them. So take a little piece of paper and start listing on the left side of the paper all your anxiety beliefs. So thinking back of my own example, I remember when I started my business, I wrote down things like, I'm afraid of what my colleagues or my boss will think when I start my business, because I was still working back in corporate back then. Second of all, I was afraid that I couldn't make any money with this business idea I had. And then third of all, I was really worried that people will judge me for doing something different and not really understand what I'm trying to do. Bottom line, I had a really long list actually with lots of happy thoughts. And what I did then was on the right side, list basically the solution. This is the kind of pep talk or the kind of advice that you would give to probably, let's say, your best friend or someone you love. Because let's be fair, we're all great at giving advice and being really nice to our friends and family. But when it comes to giving advice to ourselves, we do not really give ourselves that much slack. I said before that I was afraid of what my colleagues and my boss would think if I start my business. So what I would then write as kind of the little pep talk was like, okay, Laura, well, that actually doesn't really matter because first of all, it's not like you're gonna spend your whole life in one company. Second of all, if your business takes off, you're most probably gonna quit your job. And third of all, if it's not gonna define your future, then why would you let that anxiety belief define the future of your business that could potentially change your entire life? Second of all, I was afraid that I couldn't make any money with it. And obviously that sounds ridiculous sitting here right now and running a multiple 6-figure business. But back then, I was really afraid that I couldn't make it happen. And something that I really always reminded myself of, and something that I really want you to remind yourself of, is if someone did it, if someone was successful, that means that you can replicate that success and do it as well. So something I say all the time is, if I'm sharing success stories, don't let it, put you down. On the contrary, I want you to get inspired and realize that, look, if she can do it, I can do it as well. So that's really a mindset that I want you to have around that because it really helps you to stay on track and focus on what's important. And then last of all, I was afraid that people would judge me for being different. Well, honestly, that's fine. I remember that I wrote as a little pep talk, I remember writing, oh, haters don't pay the bills and that kind of stuff, just to remind myself of, Laura, stop the whole people-pleasing thing, focus on what's important, and again, haters don't pay the bills. If you put yourself out there, there will be opinions, but there will also be people that love what you're bringing to life, that will cheer for you, and you will find your tribe. Okay, before diving into the second pillar, if you're enjoying this video so far, please give it a little thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Then second of all, let's look at the fear of failure. Because if you're afraid of being judged, most probably you might also just be afraid of failure. And I really don't want you to be afraid of failure because it might push you to stay inactive or not fully commit to your projects or your business, which would obviously be a total shame. So, okay, the thing is, in your business, every time you feel anxious or nervous and you're afraid of failure, I want you to ask yourself the right questions. So for example, every time I launch something new or I start a new business or something like that, I would ask myself, okay, what's the worst that can happen? And the reason I'm asking you to ask yourself that question is because most probably you'll notice that the worst case scenario isn't actually that bad. It's not that shockingly bad. In most cases, and that is especially in business, you will learn something new from that failure and you will learn from it, and it might even help you turn your business into a real success. What I came to realize is that most people are actually not afraid of failing. They're afraid of what other people might think when they fail. They're afraid that that failure defines them. So let me say that again. Most people are not afraid of failing. They're afraid of what other people might think when they fail. Because if you think about it, failure is usually not that bad. It's usually just a learning school that is pretty much like, okay, well, that didn't work. Let's try something else and learn from it. It doesn't define you or your business. So one thing, and this is something I tell my clients all the time, is that I really want you to look at your business and the projects that you're working on as little experiments. When you have an experiment, it's something that can go well or can go bad, but you don't let it define the whole future of your business. You're testing, you're learning, you're optimizing, and as long as you keep going, you're not failing. You only fail when you actually give up. So just keep going and don't let the fear of failure stop you from really having your business grow. Then last of all, we arrived at dealing with the fear of being judged. And this is gonna be a big one. And as I mentioned before, most probably it's about you judging yourself rather than someone judging you. It's very often linked to our own inner critic and all of that. So that's again why doing that exercise with anxiety beliefs and looking at fear of failure will help you deal with it. But then another thing that I really also want you to focus on is don't seek everyone's approval. And this is something I had to tell myself. You cannot try to control what everyone thinks about you. And that might be weird because when you're putting yourself out there are so many opinions, but you're just gonna have to accept that. You can't change everyone's opinion about you. I mean, that would be literally crazy. So focus on pursuing what it is that you want to do. Stop explaining yourself or pleasing other people around you. And keep in mind that your friends and family will support you in what it is that you do. If you're happy, they don't really need to understand your entire business or everything that you're working on necessarily. And what also really, really helps is finding people in your industry or in, sort of the business circles that you're in that really understand your business. So for example, I'm really, really lucky because obviously I have a business partner and friend, Ginny Fears, that I talk to pretty much as soon as I wake up to until I go to sleep. So we're all the time in touch, and it really helps me as well to have someone to confide in, talk about the business, talk about these weird things like Instagram growth and engagement and reels and so forth. Because let's be fair, it's nice to have a circle of people that you can talk to that will completely understand what you're going through in your business. So I have Ginny, and I also have a few people inside our community that I can just have a chat with. I don't have to explain them what a lead magnet is or what a sales funnel is or anything like that. They just understand my business, and I think that's amazing. So I'd say get your little tribe, get rid of those anxiety beliefs, try to deal with your fear of failure, and in general, stop trying to be afraid of what people will think of you. Focus on what's important for your business and the journey ahead. You'll save yourself from so many headaches so you can finally focus on what's important. I hope you enjoyed this little positivity / mindset video. It's a slightly different video than normal. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments. If you enjoyed it, please give it a little thumbs up. I appreciate the support, and I'm sending you lots of good vibes. Bye!